So get this right, I was in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I went out one night at my hostel and met this Swedish guy named Felix that looked like Avicii. The following morning at breakfast he told me he was going to a tiny place called Senmonorom to see some elephants at an elephant sanctuary named Elephant Valley Project. Without doing any research, I said I'd join him. A grueling 7-hour journey began on a rundown minibus packed with Cambodians, but eventually we made it to Senmonorom, which is the capital of the Mondulkiri province. The town has over 7,000 inhabitants and is often compared to frontier towns in the old American West.
Alive or dead, it's your choice.
We checked into the Avocado Inn and got some sleep. 6:30 a.m. Showtime. We arrived at the office for the Elephant Valley Project at 6:50 a.m. and handed over a cool $130 each. All of this money goes back into the program and helps support over 2,400 local people with healthcare coverage, education for school kids and lots more. A few minutes later, we jumped into the back of a pickup truck with some of the others who were on the excursion, and off we went to the Elephant Valley Project. It was a bumpy 20-minute ride, and once we got there we were briefed on what we would be doing that morning, which was trekking into the jungle to see 2 of the elephants, watching them for a bit and then going for lunch. Off we went down into the hot, sweaty jungle.
Be careful guys, very slippery here.
Yeah, I already almost fell.
We each had a stick to help us with our footing as it was quite treacherous. With a pair of MyProtein joggers and Adidas runners, there was no way I was prepared for the jungle.
Getting the river ready for crossing.
The jungle was unforgiving with very slippy terrain and insects absolutely everywhere. Finally, emerging in the distance, 2 female elephants. I must say that this was pretty cool. Here we were up close and personal with these magnificent beasts. One had a local mahout on her neck. This was because she is very afraid of strangers and is most comfortable with this particular mahout on her neck in the mornings. If you didn't know, you should never sit on an elephant's back, only on its neck. But to be honest, be sound and just don't sit on one at all.
You can see Asian elephant is very much different compared with African elephant, right? So African elephant is much bigger and Asian elephant is smaller.
We followed the elephants around for about 2 hours and learnt more about their history. Despite spraying mosquito repellent on, I constantly got bitten to the point where I was spraying repellent on my face. Eventually, it was time to head back through the jungle to the base camp. I put my GoPro on my head like a gobshite and off we went. Going back was more difficult as we had to go down some very steep, slippery hills. It doesn't look that steep here, but trust me, that's just the fisheye of the GoPro.
Very, very slippy here in the jungle, like the mud is just sliding around, slipping and sliding. I'm ahead of the pack, the rest are coming behind. It's really dangerous. Also, there's this lady who's quite elderly. She's really not feeling it, so I hope she's going to be okay.
Oh, fucking bastard.
Yep, a massive ant just sprayed acid on me and it hurt like hell. I didn't want to get my feet wet when crossing the river, but to be honest, they were already covered in shite, so I probably should have dunked them in.
Oh man, that hurts.
Finally, we got back to the base camp, just in time as the heavens opened up. Felix and I chilled out in hammocks and then had lunch, which was delicious, followed by more hammock chilling. I thought I was going to be seeing more elephants in the afternoon, but it turned out that I actually was supposed to do volunteering by building a bridge in the jungle. I guess I should have read more up on the itinerary, eh? We had to cut down 3 trees and gather sticks. 1 hour later and the weather is absolutely terrible, but we have the main part of the bridge finished. Look at that sludge. Health and safety was just not a thing here. Fast forward a few hours, dinner has been eaten and the rain has not stopped. With no internet or no contact to the outside world, we actually had to talk to each other. Most of the evening was spent with Yvette from Cuba, Eva from Spain, this girl from Singapore, sorry, can't remember your name, and Felix from Sweden. Oh, and I guess I'll give myself a little flag too, sure.
Hola.
9 p.m, lights out, time for bed. On my way to the room, a cicada about this size flew into me, and I could do a whole other video about how loud I screamed and quivered. The following morning was beautiful, peaceful, majestic, and it was spent
Doing absolutely nothing.
After lunch, we went back out to see more elephants. This time we were watching them get individually washed and learned more about them. This is Sambo. At 55 years old, she is Cambodia's most famous elephant. For many years, she was a permanent feature at Wat Phnom Penh, giving rides to tourists visiting Cambodia's capital before finally being retired to EVP in 2014 with a leg injury. As a tourist elephant, she developed a peculiar diet, and unlike other elephants, she only drinks clean water. In fact, she will spit out water if it is not up to her standard.
It's not quite running water. Didn't want it. Yeah, seriously, don't know.
Didn't like it. That's funny.
This is Ruby, one of the smallest elephants at the project. She was a work elephant and had a very long logging past. She has developed an abscess, so we watched her being treated. Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom! Like sticking a needle into a carton of milk.
Just like that, just like that. Just like that.
On we went to see the elephants back in the wild, and then Dion picked up a piece of grass and casually threw it as if it were a dart.
You're not human.
More rain again. Who would have guessed? But hey, then the most amazing thing happened.
So the harness, he protection.
Money well spent. Our time at EVP was over. We were on our way back into Senmonorom, and at this stage we were as wet as we could possibly be. The experience was almost over. Or was it?
So the 4x4s got stuck. Now we're walking. For a bit at least. Lucy, what are your thoughts right now?
This is amazing. We have to walk because our truck
Can't do the business. Can't do the business.
Most of the others got into a different car, but Felix and I stayed back for about 30 minutes.
Not looking too hopeful here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We were on our way again, and at this point I craved a hot shower more than anything else. We stayed in Senmonorom for one more day before making the 7-hour journey back to Phnom Penh.
Say hello. Thank you.
Overall, I had a good experience at EVP. It was cool to see the work they are doing and be a part of it, if only for a short time. However, one thing's for sure, I now know I'm definitely not a jungle person. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And if you're new around here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You won't be disappointed. That's the best way to record sound, I reckon, when you're in a little hotel room on an island in Thailand, because it's 3 weeks later now. But sure, look, that's how it's done. Time to go have a beer.